Good afternoon, Ahmed Dilorum.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Sergey.
Hello, Professor. How are
How
you?
you doing? Pretty good. How you
I'm
doing?
Good, good. Thank you.
Excellent. Just getting everything ready here for you guys. We've got a tiny little class, you guys. Tiny. We'll see. I'm still waiting for a few people to tell me about prerequisites too. Mohammed or Ahmed, did you message me back about the prerequisites for this class?
No.
Did you take 340 or English 300?
Yes, I took 325.
Right, but you need to take 340 or 300, English 300 for this class. Those are prerequisites for this class. Did you finish one of those two classes?
What were the classes again?
W340 or English writing, ENGWR 300.
Yeah, I took the 300.
Okay, well, when you can, I don't know where you are right now, but when you can, please send me a screenshot of your e-services transcript. Just, I need to confirm that you passed that class because I cannot see it in my computer system, and I need to make sure that you passed 340. Hey, Farouk. Farouk messaged me back. I got Farouk's message. Thank you so much for that.
Hello, Professor.
Hi there. How you doing? Yeah, so we'll see how many people we have. This might be like a little seminar kind of class. You'll get like a private college experience here because, you know, at public school we used to, you know, big classes, 20, 30, 40 people. Right now, I think we only have, let me see my numbers here. I think 16 students enrolled in this class. And it might be less if people don't have the prereqs, but could be fun. It'll be interesting. And I know it's our first Zoom meeting, so I know it's right at 12:15 now, but we'll give people a few more minutes.
So when I find my class, I could just take a screenshot and then send it to you on your email.
Yep, you can set it in the Canvas inbox. You can send it to my email address that I have on the home page of this class. Yeah, whatever is easiest for you. You could text it to me. I don't care. Whatever's easiest for you.
Thanks.
I don't know if Ahmed is at work or at home. I can't tell.
I'm at work. Yeah, I'm taking like 16 units plus work, so it's really tough for me.
I know. What are people going to do when we have to go back to campus in the fall? Well, we'll see. Hopefully we'll get it together and still have a lot of online options.
Sorry, Professor.
No, it's all good. Last night we had 2 people driving, so I know how this goes with online stuff. It's all good. There's Serge.
Hello, Professor.
Hey Serge, how you doing?
Good.
Serge, did you pass 340?
Now, 325.
Okay, so you need to pass 340 or English 300 to take this class.
So 325 doesn't work. Oh.
I sent you a message. A few other people. I sent people a message in Canvas. Yeah. So the prerequisite for this class is 340 or 300, and that's because this is a college level class, right? This class transfers to Cal State and to the UC system. So it's really important that I am like that I'm very strict about the prereqs for this class because it transfers. So if you haven't passed 340 or 300, I have to drop you.
Okay. Could I try to like jump over, like or no? Because I did like I did it for 325, so I got only 310.
Yeah.
And they allow me to enroll in 325. So
Yeah,
could I
could
try to?
Yeah, I'll start to share my screen. This could be for anybody else. Now, again, I just want to warn you guys for 340 and 350. It's a little bit, like I said, it's a little bit more serious because these are college level classes, but let me, ESL department. I'll put it in the chat though. So Serge, you might already know where it is, but I want to make sure I put the prerequisite. Where is it here? No, that's for assessment. Resources. No, that's not it. There it is. I'll put this in the chat, but this is more information. If I sent you a message saying, hey, what's going on with your prereqs, or if you're not sure what's going on there, here's information for how to begin the prereq challenge process. So absolutely you can do it, right? But I cannot promise you, I just want to be honest with you all, I cannot promise you that it will be approved, okay? So if you didn't, if you did not take and pass ESLW 340 or English Writing 300 yet, you're not supposed to take this class. So if you need to do the prereq challenge process, here it is, right? Can you guys can see my screen, right? Cool. Yeah, you need to email Lilia, and then, you know, Serge, if you've already done it, you kind of know what the process is there. But that will be the next step. So if you want to stay today, hang out, and then do the prereq challenge process later on, you could do that. But again, I just want to make sure everybody knows. And I won't be dropping students until probably next week or week 3. Everything is so crazy right now with Omicron and classes that were supposed to be on campus going online. So everything's moving a little bit slow right now. But again, yeah, that's it. That's the prereq. That's the situation. Any questions about the prereq stuff? So if I emailed you, I sent individual messages to students if this applies to you. So please respond to me and let me know either way. Ahmed, yeah, I see your little yellow hand. What's up?
Okay, okay, Professor. So I have a question about the 340 that you referred to. Is like the 340, what is it going to be? Is it going to be a grammar class or
No, it's a
What
4.
340?
Okay, so let's go to I'll show you here.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, I don't think you're the only one. Okay, so here's the, let's see. So here's the course sequence, right? I'm just gonna mute you, Ahmed, but I'm gonna keep answering your question. So here's the course sequence. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so we can see better for ESL. We don't even need to talk about 30, 40, 50, right? We're done with that. We're done with that. But many of you, some of you I know took 325 with me, right? ESL 325. That's the last class that really is truly, purely only ESL, right? And I can say that because that class does not transfer over to CSU or UC school, right? But after 325 is ESLW 340. Now the W says writing, right? It's not 6 units, it's only 4 units. But one thing that is really, truly amazing about our department at ARC is we have an ESL class taught by ESL professors that will count the same exact way, that qualifies the same exact way as transfer level English writing 300, right? Now, every single student who wants to graduate from ARC with an associate's degree, or if you're going to transfer to the CSU or to the UC, either one, you need that transfer level English, right? You maybe already know from talking to your counselor, there is a lot of focus on transfer level English, transfer level math, transfer level English, transfer level math, right? Well, transfer level English for both ESL students and American high school students, right, is English Writing 300. Now, again, we are amazing at ARC because we have a class in our ESL department that transfers with the 4 units, that counts towards your GPA and gives you credit, right? You get credit for finishing successfully transfer level English. Now, that's transfer level English. The class you're taking now, or the class that I'm teaching right now and you're here for, is ESLW 350. W350 also transfers to university, right? However, it is not transfer level English. It actually counts as what's called an elective, right? Elective means you don't have to take that class to graduate from university, any university, ARC or CSU or UC, but you can choose to take this class and apply and use those units as a part of your bachelor's degree, right? So the 340 class is a requirement because it's all about academic reading, writing, and research, right? If you took 300 or W340, you know you had to write a research paper, right? You had to find sources, quote those sources, use MLA formatting, organize a research paper. That's what you do in 340 and 350. In this class, we do the same thing, right? We have to write a research paper like that, but instead of doing an academic topic, we research literature, right? In this class, we talk about poetry, fiction, and other types of literary expression in English, right? So that's why 340 or 300 are required first before you come to 350. That was a really long answer to your question, Ahmed, but does that explain it a little bit more? And if you can't answer, Ahmed, you can just give me a thumbs up or. Maybe he's busy. His boss is talking to him. Okay, anybody else? Does that make sense what I just said? Anybody else or have questions about this prerequisite and why you need to take 340 before 350? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Go ahead,
thought
Serge and then Farouk.
I thought ESL 350 goes after 325, but there is another ESL writing 340. So I misunderstood this. So I searched, I looked for ESL next level, like ESL.
Yeah.
I done ESL 325, and yeah, I didn't know. It's okay. It's okay.
It's all good. Yeah,
the-
exactly. I mean, now if people do need to take, hold on, we do have a section of ESLW 340 that has openings right now. It's being taught by Professor Sabina Simon. She's teaching it, and there are openings. So let me just show you in Canvas if you do need W340 or English 300, right? That's mainstream English. While I pull this up on my screen, Farouk, I know you had your hand up too. I want to make sure that we hear from you. Go ahead, please, while I show you guys this.
I'm just telling that I took 340 this fall,
Yeah.
and I know it's how hard is that? Oh.
Who was your teacher, Farouk?
So I think Katrina Fukui.
Oh yeah,
Fukui.
Fukui. Yes,
pronounce-
yes. You told. Yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
told me in your email to me. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So when it comes to 350, my major is business administration.
Yeah.
So I have been told by the counselors that I also need to take 350.
Let me show
But-
you. Yeah, let me show you. Need to is an interesting. Let's talk about that too. I should just bookmark this page, you guys. But I want to go to the course catalog. Oh, excuse me. I went to the wrong page again. This thing is so big.
Oh, that's my class.
Which one? This
The
one?
picture.
Are you in
the
here?
picture. The picture that you showed is I am in that class. It's for Professor Raw.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He retired. Professor Rao's not teaching anymore. He retired.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't want to teach online. He was out. He's out. Let's see. Why don't we have the course catalog? I'm going to go to e-services again to show you. So I just want to make sure, right? This is here where it said, I'll put this in the chat too. But if you have not taken W340, like Farouk said, it's hard. It's a lot of work. And that's why it's important that you take that class first, or English 300, either one, because the skills that you use in that class, you will need in this class, right? But let me make sure I put the course code. So if you do want, these are a little strange right now. I got a new computer and I'm still learning how to use it. I'll put this in the chat. If you need 340, this is the course code for the one that has openings. Like you can see right now, there are only 10 students in that class because there's 15 open seats. It is not going to get canceled. So again, if you need W340, you can sign up for this section of W340 with Professor Sabina Simon. I want to answer this question about W350 and do I need it or not need it, especially for business administration. Hi, everybody. By the way, I know where I'm going right into business, but iPhone 13, William, Racine, Wahida, good to see you all. We will talk about the syllabus in the course, but obviously this is some pretty important stuff here so that people know, why am I taking this class? You know, what is it going to help me in going to college? So hold on, let's see, ESLW 350. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there, homie.
Yeah, you see, so you can find this course by ESL 350, just ESL. So
Is
that's
it?
why, yeah, ESL
That is-
50. Yeah, that's why 350, yeah.
Did that change? That's really weird.
Yeah, that's why I misunderstood this. So I thought ESL 325 goes up like
That's
before.
really weird. That's really weird. Really weird. Okay, so let me just answer. So here you can see prerequisite, a grade of C or better in ESLW 340, or a grade of C or better in English writing 300. Now, this is like Farouk's question about, do I need this class, right? So this class will transfer general education for an AA or an AS here at ARC, right? And here where it says CSU Area 3, CSU Area 2, and I get C Area 3B, I get C is the UC system. So the best thing to do here where it says CSU Area 3, classes Area 3 elective. This is going to be different for every single student, right? So this is information about general ed classes. Let's see, where did I want to go? There it is. Right, so I'll put this link in the chat too. This is basic information about how to know. Hey, I see why he does comment in the chat about how to know what classes will be required for you at the CSU system. Remember, this website that I'm showing you now is just for CSU. So notice here where it says this class counts for CSU area A3 or area A2. So here where it says area, right? A2 is for written communication. A3 is for critical thinking. So what this means for you, Farouk, is this class, you need some kind of class, no matter what, to get a bachelor's degree in business administration, biology, psychology, English literature, whatever, right? To get a bachelor's degree at a CSU, a student must take a class, any class, that counts towards either A2 and A3. But you know, there are there's a big menu of classes that might count for A2 or A3. Now, if you take this class with me, you don't need to worry about any other A2, A3 classes or classes that might count for that, because you'll be done, right? Your A2 and your A3 will be done. So for your question, Farouk, do you need this specific class? No. But do you need some class that counts for A2 or A3? Yes, you do. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Okay, good. And I see
Yes,
Omid gave me,
Professor. Thank you very much.
yeah, I know this is more like counseling stuff, but of course, if you're at 340 or 350 level, this is important, right? Like you're thinking about college, you're thinking about transferring, right? You're thinking about which classes will count as you move on. So Ahmed, is it the same question, or is you have a new question? Your hand is still up.
It's kind of a question
Okay,
and
please.
or a statement.
Sure.
So basically, I took 325. I am an ESL student, and I took 325, and my professor told me that I have a high like a high level of writing essays and stuff, like I am good at writing essays, and she recommended me to take a high class, and like to basically skip the ESL class because my level is like on a high English class,
Right.
and I took this class.
Right, and well, this is still an ESL class again. And I have training in, I have a degree in English literature and in teaching ESL, so I kind of am in the middle here, and in linguistics. So I kind of do a lot of different stuff. But this, again, one thing that is really special, and I do think amazing about ARC and our ESL department, is we have 2 classes in the ESL department that is college transfer level class, right, Ahmed? So this is an ESL class, but it does transfer. Now, the only thing that makes this difficult is no matter what, though, Ahmed, you need to take either W340 or regular English 300. You must take that class to graduate from ARC with an associate's degree and to go to CSU, right? So you can't skip 300 or 340. Like you must take that class, even just to get an associate's, right? To say nothing about a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, I'm trying, Professor, I'm trying to finish my associates as fast as possible. I'm taking like all of my general ed, and is the 300 English class the first beginner class for an English speaker, or
it's the lowest, it's the first class that a native English speaker, in the past, we used to have sort of remedial, that just means like basic or introductory English. that American students would take if they weren't ready for 300, that is gone. And honestly, you guys probably know this. Any student who enrolls at ARC can take English 300 anytime. Even if a student is like the 30 level of ESL, they are legally allowed to take 300 if they want to take it. Now, they will fail, right? If you don't speak English, you will fail English 300. But to your question, Ahmed, it is which one, if your goal is to go as fast as you can and to transfer to a 4-year university, English 300 or ESLW 340 is way more important than this class. Now, this class is good and helpful because you get electives done, you get college credit, it transfers, but it's not like Farouk was saying, it's not a requirement, right, to graduate from ARC. You must pass 300 or ESL 340 to get an associate's degree.
Professor, is this class harder than 300?
It'll be really hard if you didn't take 3. I mean, that's a deep question. That's so specific on each student and each professor. I'll just say this class is very much about literature. So some students love literature and love fiction and love stories and analyzing stories, and some students hate it, right? So if you hate like fiction, if you hate literature, this class might be very hard, right? If you have a much more research brain, 300 might feel really easy. But like Farouk was saying, you know, Farouk took W340. Maybe I'll ask if you can, Farouk, can you tell the class just a little bit about 340? What did you do? And did you feel like it was difficult? Can you share just a little bit for people who don't know?
Oh, to be honest, for me, it was so. It was not hard. It was not so difficult, but you have to have a lot of time, you know, to do the assignments. You will have a lot of writings each week. We had a discussion, and then we had a different types of writing essays, persuasive essay, and at the end of the semester, you have to finish a research paper, and everything should be based on MLA format. So it's a pretty, you know, big subject. You know, you will learn a lot of things. That yeah.
And I think thank you, Farouk. I think one reason ESL students like to take W340 instead of English 300 is because, well, 2 reasons. ESL professors like me, you know, we know what it's like to be bilingual. We know what it's like to write in your 2nd or 3rd or 4th language. We have training in how to help bilingual writers, right? That's one reason. And the second reason that some students like to take W340 is we in the ESL department, we know that many students in that class did not go to high school in the United States, right? They have not studied the structure of research paper essays, but if you took history in American high school, right, or a psychology class in American high school, you probably already learned a little bit about structure, organization, and all of those things. In ESLW 340, we take more time to really explain those things. And in English 300, they sort of assume that you already know how to do that. And the focus is much more on read, write, not how to write. Now, I'll say one last thing about 300. Some students, you know, really have a goal like, I want to feel like a native speaker, right? I want to feel like, that's it. I want to feel like a native speaker. And they love the idea of taking English 300 because that's mostly Americans, right? So they like, yeah, I want to be in a class with native speakers. I want to be in a class with people who only speak English. Now, that is one reason some people choose, some people choose to take English writing 300, right? So which one's easier, which one's harder, which one's better, which one's worse? It really just depends on each student's goals, you know, and it's kind of person to person, if that makes sense. What else? We haven't even talked about this class yet. I love it. Other ideas or questions or concerns? I'll just say this, if you do have a question, please raise your hand, I'll let you talk, but I'll say it one more time. If your goal is to get an associate's degree, English 300 or ESLW 340 is way more important than this class. That's the truth. I love this class. I think you should take it. You get 4 units and you learn to think about English language in a new way. But English 300 or ESLW 340, that is a very, very, very important class for your academic progress. Anything else? Cool. So now that I scared you all away, right? We have a small class already and I'm like, don't take this class. I'm not saying don't take this class. I'm saying take the class that you need for your goals, right? You getting what you need is way more important, right? That's the most important thing. Farouk is good. Farouk took 340. We're going to hang out. Farouk and I are going to read some books together, but make sure you get the classes you need, right? Yeah. And I have respect for college counselors, but I know some of this stuff is not very clearly explained by counselors. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Omid.
Good afternoon, Professor and classmates.
Howdy.
Yeah, regarding your, as you mentioned before, that ESL 3, the people that students that they already took the ESL 340 or
Yes.
300.
Yes.
So I already took 340, but do I need the 350 as well for the completing the associate degree within the American College?
This was like Farouk's question, right?
Mhm.
You absolute, I'm just going to go back to my screen here. As it says on CSU, right? You
Mhm, yeah.
absolutely, you must complete a class that qualifies, that counts for these A2 or A3 groups, right? You must take a class that satisfies that requirement. Now, this class does satisfy that requirement and does transfer to CSU, right? But when you say, must I take this? Well, this class is not the only class, right? You could take a sociology class or a psychology class, or there's a whole variety of classes, choices that might meet that same requirement for this written communication and critical thinking piece. So you aren't required to take this class, but if your goal is to transfer, it is still useful, right? It's not a waste of your time and money and units. You get to transfer those units over still.
It will be counted, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. These are very, very important questions. Anybody else before I go to my PowerPoint slide? Cool. Well, no matter what happens, no matter if you decide to stay or go or whatever, thank you all. Thank you for being here. And it's really good to meet some of you. And even if you're just typing in the chat like Wahida did, or I've taken Surge, I had in, oh my gosh, what, grammar 30? I mean, a much lower level class. So it's always great to see people again. And it's great to see all of you. So listening 30, I think, excuse me, Serge. So today is what, Wednesday, January 19th. It is really, really good to see all of you. Even if you stay or don't stay for the rest of the semester, we are here with ESLW 350 in the spring 2022 semester. I want to sort of tell you what we are going to do today, but before we do that, here's our agenda. So that long discussion about do I need this class? Let's call that our welcome. And then I've got an icebreaker activity, just a way for you to talk to some of your fellow classmates. And then we'll do a review of the syllabus, a tour of the Canvas course, and then we'll sort of have a brief discussion about literature and some of the ideas that we will talk about in the first week or two of the class, right? Can I see though, since we only have 8 people here, can you give me a thumbs up or put in the chat? Like if I put you into small groups, can you talk to each other or not? Like if you can, I know I see Farouk, so I assume he can, but can you give me a thumbs up either with your hand or a little yellow thumbs up if you can talk in a small group? Thank you, Farouk. Thank you. So I see Wahida says yes, Racine says yes, Omid says yes. Ahmed, Fatma, Serge, maybe. Fatma says no.
Yeah, I can. I don't know if I try to push this thumb up, but I don't know if you see it.
I see it. Yeah, I can see it. And Sergey says yes. And Ahmed, maybe he's at work. So I'll make sure Fatma and Ahmed are not in the same group. So that way, even if we have one silent person in each group. So I do want you to talk to each other. And like I said, very small groups. But here's what I want you to talk about. These are the 3 questions I want you to talk about. So this is a literature class, right? We're going to do research and we're going to do academic writing and we're going to do critical thinking. But instead of doing it about research, academic research papers, right, we do it about books, right? We do it about English literature. So first basic question to share with each other is, what's your favorite book? Any language, any country, I don't care. You just talk about what's your favorite book with your group and why is it your favorite? 2, what do you think about when you see the phrase literary analysis? And if you go, I don't think about anything because I don't know what that is, that's totally fine. But talk about what do you think about when you see the phrase literary analysis? And 3, what is something specific you hope, you want, you dream to learn in this class this semester? Now I'm going to give you guys, well, maybe not even 10 minutes since we have such small group, but at least you get to say hello to someone else in the class and talk about some of these big ideas before then the syllabus is important, but a little boring. So we'll make sure you guys get to talk before we go into the syllabus, okay? Any questions at all about what I want you to do in your small groups here? Cool. So I will broadcast these questions when you're in your groups. You could take a picture of the screen or write them down or whatever you need to do, but I'll put them in the groups for you too. So we're just going to have 2 breakout rooms. And I need to make sure that Fatma and Ahmed are not in the same group. Fatma and Ahmed. So I'm going to exchange for. Great. Okay, I'm going to open the rooms and I'll see you in about 10 minutes maximum. Okay, but at least talk to someone else in the class and talk about these 3 questions. Rooms are open now. Everything okay, Farouk? Did you get bounced out?
Yeah, I just log in with my cell phone. I don't know what's wrong with my computer.
Got it. Were you in group 2?
Yes, I was in group 2.
I'll send you right back there. And Delorum, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. We're working in small groups right now. Okay, I'm going to send you into one of the small rooms.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back. I'm glad group 2 is still talking. I do not like to interrupt people, but I'm glad when people stay in the room and use all the time they have. Usually it means that they're hopefully enjoying talking to each other. So one reason I do this on the first day is just to make sure you remember, right? Even though we are now, we're kind of used to Zoom, we know how online learning goes. Remember, you are not alone, even though you can feel like it's just you in your office or in your home, doing your work. There's other people in this class, I promise, and you'll get to talk to each other a little bit when we have time this semester. And then I just think it's a great way for you to talk about some of these sort of basic introductory ideas here. So I really want to talk, before we look at the syllabus, I want to talk about this question number 2 and question number 3, right? But before we do that, does anybody want to share what their favorite book is with the class? I'm just curious. Any language, any country, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Farouk. Oh, we can't. Oh, there you go.
Do you hear me, Professor?
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
Okay. My favorite book is a writer reference. Can everyone can see it?
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So before this book, I had lots of books which were my favorites, but I took this book this fall. It was the requirement for my class for 340.
Okay.
And I found it very useful and very instructive.
Nice.
This book, when you have any question about writing, you can find it, the solution over here.
Nice.
Yeah. So it doesn't explain everything, but it does explain the mistakes, the common mistakes,
Nice.
So that's why I like it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Sometimes if, even if I have completed 340, but still, when I have time, I read this book.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great, Farouk. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Farouk chose a textbook. That's awesome. Anybody else want to share your favorite book? Textbook. It could be anything. Anybody else?
Yes, Professor. I agree with Farouk. So I have the same book as Farouk has.
Okay.
Yeah, a writer's reference. This is really an interesting textbook, and it explains about different topics, how you will about the essays, about how you construct a research paper, how to cite, about every rules about the MLA. So it is all included in this. Whenever like you face any problem during writing an essay or writing any research paper, so you can always refer to this, and this is a great textbook.
Awesome. That's great. That's
And
great.
it is really good for students like being in 340 or 350, since we are doing a lot of research paper and essays. So
Right.
it is a great tool for us.
Perfect. That's great. I'm glad you guys really had a good experience with that textbook in 340. That's great. That's great. Anybody else before we talk about what we do in this class? Anybody else? Cool. Yeah, Sergey.
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of favorite books. I like to read authors from my native country, from Russia,
Yes.
like Alexander Pushkin, Nikolai Gogol. And as for American writers, I very like Jack London and Mark Twain.
Yes, yeah, very and very California writers. You know, I know Mark Twain is
Yes,
from
yes.
Missouri, but Mark Twain has a huge history of America of the West, right? Of California and that kind of West Coast sort of
And
style, you know.
Jack London is one of the reason why I'd like to visit Alaska.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, me too. I know. I want to see the Northern Lights, and then yeah, all the white fang and all, you know, very evocative kind of. Of
Mhm,
course, Jack
mhm.
London, very famous American author. That's great. And of course, I know for our Russian students or students who speak Russian, you know, Russia has just an incredible literary history. You know, some of the most important novels and poetry ever written is
Yes.
in the Russian language. So I know our Russian students, our Russian speakers, an incredible literary history. You know, America's a little baby country compared to what Russia has been adding to the world
I
with
agree.
literature. You know,
Thank you.
that's great. That's fantastic. That's great. Anybody else? Well, in the chat, just in case anybody cares, my favorite book is by an American author named Kurt Vonnegut, and it is a novel, right? I love that people were talking about their sort of research textbooks. That's great, but again, we're talking about novels in this class. So in the chat, I'm going to put just basic information about my favorite book is a story called Cat's Cradle, and it was written in 1971. And if you like Mark Twain, Sergey, I think Kurt Vonnegut is absolutely sort of a descendant, right? Very clearly an American author that comes after Mark Twain. I'm not saying that because he's copying Mark Twain, but that tone, that style, that kind of very intelligent and very funny sort of attitude is a very sort of common part of Kurt Vonnegut's style. So that's that's always my favorite that I like to share. So let's talk a little bit about, you know, what we're going to do in this class. And maybe you're going, I didn't even know this was a literature class, Jeff. I thought, you know, my counselor told me to take it. But does anybody know when you see that phrase literary analysis, like, do you know what that is? Or I'm thinking maybe Sergey, since you know a lot about Russian literature, you have a passion for Russian literature. But that doesn't mean it's not just you, Sergey. We can let other people talk too. But do we know what this is? Or what do we think about when we see this literary analysis? Kind of what do you already know about this? Anybody? Zero. We know nothing, Jeff. Yeah, that's fine. So then if we
Excuse me,
don't,
Professor.
please, yeah, please.
About literary analysis, I think we are going to analyze about any other writers writing that previously they have written. So we will go through that and we will have our analysis.
Good. And so let's keep it really simple, Amit. Is literature, literary, is that fiction or nonfiction?
I think it is nonfiction.
No,
Fiction.
it's fiction, right?
Fiction.
We're reading books. We're going to read a short novel. We're going to read poetry. We're going to read a full novel, right? Literary analysis really refers to literature. Usually means, and now I'm just sort of taking notes here, but literature usually means novels, short stories, poetry, sort of theater and plays, right? Again, I also have a bachelor's degree in theater. Before I went back to school to become a teacher, you know, I sort of studied Western civilization through music and theater and dance. Now, obviously, music and dance is not literature, but really, when we talk about literature, we're usually thinking about a novel. You know, like you know, we could have a debate. Like a very popular American author, like John Grisham, if you know who that is. He writes books about lawyers and kind of crime stories and stuff. You know, is this literature? Is that just fiction? You know, we can have this sort of debate about, oh, literature is sort of very advanced, very academic, you know, very deep kind of. But really, it's important to understand that when I say literature here, I mean stories. You know what I mean? I don't mean a research paper about, you know, nutrition in children, or I don't mean a research paper about what racism in the United States. All of those things are really interesting and important, right? But not literature, not literature. So Omid is exactly correct when he says we're analyzing the works of authors, no doubt about that. But I want to make sure that, you know, we're talking about like, and like Sergey was saying, Pushkin, right? Pushkin's writing poetry. Pushkin's doing literature. You know, Dostoevsky's is Brothers Karamazov is it's an 800-page. You know, it's a
Yes.
lot of story. You know what I mean? And that's what we're analyzing in this class. Good. And Sergey, have you done this, Sergey, this type of analysis in Russian previously, literary analysis?
Yes, but I think it's a little bit different. We analysis of genre, topic, what is about main characters.
Yes, genre, topic, character. In fact, in this semester, well, some might be different, Sergey, but some may be similar because you will do a character analysis in this class. Absolutely, right? Good. So Sergey said genre. I love that. We won't go too deep on genre because you know, we could say a lot about different genres of literature. You could have a whole class, right, just about poetry is a genre, right, a style of literature. And of course, there are many classes that are only poetry, right? But I'm going to kind of show you. I don't know. This class kind of goes wide instead of super deep. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to try and show you a variety of different things. But you know, we can talk about genre a little bit because the Pearl, the first short book that we'll read, is a different style than the Lathe of Heaven that we'll read later in the semester. So good. So Sergey says we can analyze for genre, for topic, for character. I'm going to add to this list themes, symbols. You know, symbolic analysis is a huge part of literary analysis. And again, if you're coming off of 340,
and the most difficult, I think.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's really tricky. It's really tricky. I agree. I mean, I think the deep thematic analysis can be really tricky. Like I was saying, Brothers Karamazov, for people who don't know, it's just this masterpiece, right? It's a genius piece of literature. It was written in Russian, but thank God for translation, right? I've been able to read the book. It's like I said, it's 400, 500, 600 pages, depending on the edition you have. Now, how can we say there's only one main idea? You know, there's only one theme in a book like that. But I do think one way to think about the deeper meaning, the main idea, the theme in a big book, like Sergey is saying, is in the symbolism, right? So how do we recognize the symbols in a book? How do we make connections between those symbols and the deeper meaning, the deeper themes? That's absolutely something that we get to do when we're doing literary analysis. Yeah. We can analyze for genre, topic, character, theme, symbols. And for themes, I'm going to kind of put main idea. Again, all the skills that you practiced in 340, I promise you're going to use them, right? How do you identify the thesis statement? Well, in literature, we don't have one sentence that's a perfect thesis statement, right? But an excellent novel has a main idea. You know, there is going to be deeper meaning there. We just need to sort of, well, you know, we're going to learn how to identify it, right? How to find it, how to analyze it, and how to think about it. Great. Thank you, Sergey. Anybody else for what, when you think literary analysis, what do you think? Anybody else? Cool. Well, this is a short list, and with lots of care and respect. This isn't a bad thing. It seems like we don't know a lot yet, and that's totally fine. You know, if we're starting from the first floor, right, we're going to go all the way up. That's absolutely great, right? And one reason that I ask these questions at the beginning of the semester is, if we really have, we're starting from the ground floor, that's good. That helps me know where to start. You know, that helps me know where to start. We don't need to start analyzing the symbols in poetry in week 2, right? We gotta do some work before we get there. So how about what we want to learn? Maybe I'm just going to add, we want to learn how to do literary analysis. Since we're not sure what it is yet, I'm just going to add that one first. But is there anybody else who came to this class with some idea of what you wanted to learn? All right. No clue. Total beginner. Sergey,
I'd like to say it's interesting for me to understand not native poetry, because poetry of different countries completely different.
Yeah.
Japanese poetry different from Russian or from American poetry.
Yes, big time, big time. And of course, you know, we will talk a little bit about Japanese poetry and specifically some of the structures of Japanese poetry, because it can help us understand, right, the structure of poetry. But Sergey, you're so correct, right? I mean, poetry is sort of somewhere in the middle between music and language, right? I mean, it's
Yes,
kind of
yes.
and that can be really exciting, and also, of course, very challenging and difficult, especially for, you know, if English is your second, third, fourth language. Again, I love Pushkin. I think some of my favorite poems are Pushkin poems, but I don't speak Russian. I'm only reading the translation. And as you say, Sergey, I know it's totally different because I speak English and Spanish. One of my favorite poets ever, his name's Pablo Neruda, and I get to read Neruda in Spanish, right? And I can feel it in Spanish. And even when I read the English translations of Neruda, I'm like, you know, it's, so you're exactly correct, Sergey. We have this thing about culture and language and translation, and that's true for all literature, but maybe especially in poetry. So I'm glad you said poetry. We're going to start with the short novel first, but by about the maybe the 4th or 5th week, we'll get to poetry, Sergey. So that's great. That's great. I love that goal. I promise we can. I'm going to help you reach that goal. Anybody else with specific goals for this semester, or what we want to learn? Let me fix my spelling here.
I think we can add. Can we add the critical thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. And can I ask you, Omid, for you, what's today, right? Let's just say January 19th. When you think about critical thinking, what does that mean for you?
It means that we think deeper regarding any topic, and we try to connect the ideas and find the problem and solution, something like.
Nice. Wonderful. Excellent. Great. I love it. I could not agree more. You said it perfectly. Yeah, and this is kind of the way I teach anyway. You know, I want you to think deeply, and Yeah, I don't know. You said it perfect, Omid. I'm glad that you said that. This is that, you know, I showed you guys in the thing for the CSU, right? For the California states. There's a reason that this class counts for A3 critical thinking, right? I mean, you'll definitely get to do some deeper thinking in this class. But again, the difference is instead of thinking about a nonfiction book or a book about sociology or psychology or something that happens sort of in society, we're going to do critical thinking about stories, you know, and it's a little bit different, but hopefully still exciting and fun. And like I said, I have a degree in English literature, so you know I love it, but hopefully you'll find something to love about it. And I can promise you will get to practice your critical thinking, that's for sure.
Hi, Professor.
Yeah, Farouk.
Yeah, for me specifically, you know, yeah, it's a new subject or it's a new class. So I want to learn the skills, you know, required how to do the literary analysis, and then how
Yes.
I can demonstrate those skills. You know,
Yes,
that's my main goal for this class.
perfect. Great. I love it. Again, I'm always happy to ask these questions at the beginning of class because, like I said, if you've never done literary analysis in any language, that is totally fine. It's my job to show you how to do it, you know. But it's great to hear from at least the people who are here with us today. We're kind of, like I said, we're starting from the bottom, and that's great. That's a great place, you know, starting at the beginning, right? The beginning is a good place to start. So I love that Farouk is saying we want to learn the skills necessary to do literary analysis, and then, like you said, apply them, right? Do them. And again, I promise that's my job to make you do that. So that's going to happen. Great. Anybody else? I know it seems like a lot of people maybe can't talk or won't talk right now, and that's totally fine. But I want to make sure I give people the opportunity to speak if they want to. Anybody else want to add to this list? What we want to learn this semester? Cool. Well, you can always type comments in the chat. Again, I'm thinking here of Racine and Wahida and Dilorum, Fatma. You can type in the chat if you're able to, of course, but just make sure I want everybody to know, right? You can contribute even if you can't turn on your video. So just so you know. Cool. Well, it's really good to meet some of you and start to talk about some of these topics. Sometimes having a really small class is strange because it's like, okay, well, who's going to talk? But I think when we start to talk about the literature, it's really exciting sometimes to have a smaller class. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to go into the syllabus now, and I'm going to go into our Canvas page. So again, I am just going to talk for a little while here. And I just want to make sure you guys can see my screen, right? I'm sharing my screen. You can see our Canvas page. Can you give me a yellow thumbs up if you can see it? Perfect. Thank you, everybody. So again, if you have questions, please just unmute yourself and ask or type it in the chat. I'm going to sort of do the teacher thing and talk a little bit here, but I wanted to go through the class, our Canvas page, show you how I have organized everything, and then I'll show you a little bit about the syllabus, right? So I'm going to put it into student view. And the last thing I'll say about this is, oh, I want to say one more thing. I designed this class on a laptop, right? I know people are on their phones and using their phone. That is beautiful. That is wonderful. But I just want to make sure I need the way that I have to design the course in Canvas, I need to use a laptop. So when I show you the examples of where things live or are on Canvas, just please know that I'm always talking about the website on a laptop or a computer or whatever, and that it might look different on your phone, okay? But here we are on the homepage for our 350 in the spring 22 semester. As you can see at the top here is just a welcome saying happy, you know, welcome to ESLW 350. I'm happy you're here. Here you see a header that says meet Professor Jeff. That's me. My name is Jeff Moran. You can call me Jeff. You can call me Professor Jeff. Whatever you want is fine by me. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. There we go. And this is me with my two brothers and my sister. Now you'll learn a little bit more about them and why I have a picture of them to introduce myself to you in one of our first assignments. But for now, just that's me and my siblings for Christmas this year. And here's my email address, moranj at arc.losrios.edu. And here's my phone number, right? So I'm putting my contact information right there on the homepage for you. You can email me or text me at any time. If you text me at 1 in the morning, I might wait to respond until the next day because I'm usually not awake at 1 in the morning. But please, it's really important to me that you understand you can absolutely send me a text message to this number if you have a question or need anything. Okay, that's why I put both my email address and my phone number on the front page. Then on the homepage, I've got some important links for us here, right? So our link to this Wednesday live Zoom meeting, right? Maybe you got to this class today, this Zoom today with this link, or I sent out an announcement just with a link to the class saying, hey, class is about to start. So when we have our Zoom meetings, you can click this link to join. You can go up here to the announcements, and you see it at the top too, where it says week 1 Zoom meeting starting now. So always easy ways, hopefully, for you to join our Wednesday Zoom meeting, okay? Then I've got our course syllabus here. I'm gonna talk about this in much more detail in a moment. So I'm gonna come back to it in just a minute here. But underneath the syllabus, I've got live support materials. Now I wanna show you what that is. See here it says January 19th, 2022. And right now it says PowerPoint presentation and Zoom recording, right? There's nothing to click there, but after class, I will always upload, I will put the PowerPoint presentation into Canvas and put it here for you to review, to download, whatever you need. And I will also put the link to our Zoom recording on Wednesdays, right? Now, when you joined the meeting today, you hear the Zoom woman's voice saying, recording in progress, right? So I do record every Wednesday Zoom meeting so that if you're sick, if your kid is sick, if work is crazy, if you just can't come to class one Wednesday, you can watch the Zoom recording to review the material and the lecture that I present to the class, okay? And this is where you can find that Zoom recording on the live support materials page. Now, the only other thing I want to say about this is because I will record every Wednesday Zoom meeting, if you don't want your face on the recording, if you don't want your voice on the recording, that's totally fine, right? Turn your camera off. You can just be present and listen. That is totally fine. What's most important to me is that you feel comfortable, you feel safe, okay? But just to make sure that I can run the class the way that I need to run the class, I do record the meetings. So that's the balance, right? That's the balance. I love for you to turn your video on and talk to me. It makes class much more interesting. But if you're not comfortable doing that because of the recording, that's totally, totally fine, okay? And I'm gonna show one more link, and then if we have questions, I'll answer them. But that's live support materials. Again, live support materials, that's where you can find the PowerPoint and the Zoom recording for every class. Finally, we have Professor Jeff's course materials, and the course materials page is where I've got a lot of resources and material that can help you during this class. Now, I'll show you on the syllabus, but I only have you buy 2 books, right? 2 novels. The rest of it is all free links or PDFs or resources, including some of the PDFs from the poetry book. So I have them here for you on the Canvas page, right? So here where it says chapter 1 of The River Speaks, the poetry book, well, here's the PDF for you so that when we start to do those lessons, right? When I say read chapter 1 of The River Speaks, I will put that link so that you can review the pages, download the pages, and all that good stuff, right? That's what's here on the course materials page. I also have made videos of myself explaining and reading, there we go, explaining and reading some of the ideas from the chapters, right? So where it says chapter 1 video, It's sort of me reading through the book, giving examples and explaining some of the ideas. Now, again, I've got a lot of materials to help you with the Pearl, with the Lathe of Heaven, with our poems. And I don't need you to worry about this page right now and go, Jeff, what's going on? What's everything on this page? It's not important for you to understand everything on this page because I will explain it. I will put it into the different lessons and homework and stuff that we do. But I just want you to know that that's what this page is, right? That's what the Professor Jeff's course materials are. It's videos that I made, PDFs that I scanned for you guys. That's where all of that stuff lives. And again, I'll give you much more information about what I want you to do and how I want you to use it when we get closer to having assignments, okay? I'm going to talk about office hours next, but any questions about these 4 links or anything under this links page? Any questions at all? Cool. Omi gives me the little yellow thumbs up. Thank you. And again, my students who are maybe just don't want to talk, you can always type in the chat, you guys. Please remember that. Please remember that. Okay, so the last thing on the homepage, and then I'm going to look at the syllabus in a moment here, is information about the student office hours, right? So student office hours, here's the information about when my office hours are, right? Here, day of the week, the time, and the modality just means how, right? How do we do it? So I have office hours on Tuesday from 5 to 6:30. That's because I have a class that starts after that. So Tuesday, 5 to 6:30, and you can make an appointment to come see me at a specific time, or you can just drop in, right? You can just come see me. Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. So again, right before this class, if you need to talk to me, you can give me a phone call, a text, or an email. If you really need to talk to me on Zoom, we can also make a Zoom appointment on those days and times. But please just know, I'm not just sitting in the Zoom room on Wednesdays. I sort of am answering student emails, answering student texts, sending messages in Canvas, all that good stuff. But if you need to talk to me on video, we can do that on Wednesdays too, okay? And finally, Thursday, 3:30 to 5, same thing with appointments and drop-in. Now, when I say appointments here, I want to show you this document that says student office hours appointment sign up. That'll take you to this page, right? So if you know that you want to see me at a specific day or a specific time, Tuesday or Thursday, you can just type your name into this document, right? Anybody can type into this document. And let's say, I'm just imagining, let's say Omid wants to see me tomorrow. All Omid needs to do is type his name and then type 350 so that I know what class. Now, after a week or two, I will probably know, okay, Omid is in 350, but especially at the beginning, please type the class number so that I can make sure I'm ready for you when you come to office hours. So for example, Ina is in my 325 class. She signed up to see me tomorrow at 3:30, right? That's what this document is. And at the end of the week, every week, I'll change it. So week 1, week 2, and then I'll come down here and change the dates, right? So this is just to make sure that if you want to see me at a specific day or a specific time, just put your name into the sign-up sheet and I will see you there. And the last thing to say about this is to come see me. All you need to do is click this link that says Student Office Hours Zoom Room. That's how to come to office hours, right? So if you sign up to see, when I'll use Ina as an example, when Ina comes to see me tomorrow at 3:30, all she needs to do is click this link right here, Student Office Hours Zoom Room. I won't click it because if I click that link, then this class will close and I will open the Zoom room for the office hours, but this is the only link you need to come talk to me in office hours, okay? So next is the syllabus, but any questions at all about the office hours, dates, times, information, sign-up sheet, anything at all? Omid's giving me the round of applause. Thank you, Omid. Anybody, any questions? Good, I see a thumbs up, thank you. Cool.
This is
Professor-
amazing.
Please, Farouk.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I think I read the syllabus, and it's my
Good.
understanding that the Zoom meetings are not mandatory. Yes, am I right?
Yes, yes. And we're going there next. But yes, the short answer is yes, that's true.
Okay, that's great. So for me, because I'm a I have a full-time employment, so my job starts in the afternoon, so I have to go to work by 1 o'clock. So I mean, I can be for the Zoom, I can participate and attend for the Zoom meeting for 45 minutes. Is this fine?
Got it. Yeah, let's go there. I'm going to switch over to the syllabus. So again, you can the syllabus is here for you at any time, preview, download, alternative formats. I'm old school. I like to look at it in the Word document. Oh, excuse me. I need to open the syllabus, not the discussion rubric. There it is. Yeah, so because the question is about attendance and all that good stuff, let's just go there really quickly. Again, this is at the end of the syllabus, and I am going to go back to the beginning to make sure everybody understands. But the attendance policy for these Wednesday Zooms, right? So attendance policy, there is no required attendance for our class, and you will not receive nor lose points based on your attendance or absence at weekly Zoom meetings. All live Zoom meetings will be recorded and available in the live support page in Canvas. Now, I do expect you to watch the video if you were not present, and I will ask you to be accountable for the information in the videos. So again, just to, like Farouk's question is a yes or no question, right? Is attendance required for Zoom meetings? No. But watching the Zoom meetings is required, because if you don't come to the Zoom meeting and you don't watch the recording, it will be very hard to pass the class. And if you come to office hours and you ask me a question about something that I talked about on a Wednesday Zoom meeting, I will say, go back and watch the recording. So I'm not saying you're going to do that, Farouk. I just want to make sure it's clear sort of the way that I've designed the class for Wednesday Zooms and the recordings. Okay. Does that make sense, everybody, about attendance policies and stuff like that for the Zoom recording? Farouk, does that make sense?
Yes. And the second part of my question was that if I attend only for example, for 45 minutes and then leave the Zoom meeting and go to work, so that's fine?
Thank you. Yes, I was going to say, I have a PowerPoint slide for that exact same question, Farouk. Yeah, so here, oh, I need to change this, not Monday, Wednesday. Yeah, so here's exactly your question, Farouk, right? So as I say on the PowerPoint, and again, this will be in Canvas by the end of the day, please come to as much of our Zoom meeting as you can. So if you can only come for an hour, come for an hour. And what we will do, and what we'll do in our Zoom meetings, I'll have lecture materials to teach and explain the new ideas, the concepts, right? I'll also present and review things from that week's lessons or assignments that are in Canvas. I will answer questions that you have about that week's lessons and assignments. And then, as I say here, the same in the syllabus, right? All of our Wednesdays, this was last semester, we met on Mondays. All Wednesday Zoom meetings are recorded and posted in Canvas. I do not take attendance, but I do ask you to watch and be responsible, be accountable for all of the content that I talk about on Wednesday Zoom meetings. Okay. And I wanted to explain something about this sort of why I have class the way I design it. So I just wanted to explain before I go back to the syllabus here, and forgive me, I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but this class is designed with something called flexible course design. And I just want to explain what that is, because now it's the fourth semester where we have had online learning. And I know every teacher does this different, right? Some teachers like, you must be here and your video must be on, and other teachers are completely asynchronous, no Zoom. I mean, there's a huge range, right? So here's a little bit about how I designed this class and why I designed it that way. So flexible course design is something teachers are experimenting with to help students during the COVID-19 pandemic. The idea is to allow students to complete the course at their own speed and at the days and times that work best for their personal schedule. Now, this is why I'm going to change this. Most of the lessons in Canvas do not have due dates. And in fact, you'll see a due date for the welcome letter assignment, which I'll show you. But I think that's only going to be one of 3 assignments that have a due date, right? The idea is that you can go as fast or as slow as you need to based on your life, your work, your family, your kids. If you get sick, if your kids get sick, of course, we're starting at the beginning of the semester, but Omicron is still going crazy right now, right? I mean, it's still really crazy out in the world right now. So that's why it's my goal to be very flexible, right? And this is also why there's no strict attendance, and you do not get or lose points for Wednesday Zoom meetings. Now, the major writing projects, which we'll talk about later, we don't, it's only week 1. You don't need to worry about the big writing projects right now. But the major writing projects will have due dates for the first draft. And that's because I need to make sure I can read your first draft, give you feedback and comments, and give you time to revise and resubmit for a higher score, right? So the assignments that do have a due date are usually only so that I can give you feedback and make sure you know what to do to correct and fix your mistakes, okay? So that's the design of this class, this flexible course design, and that's a little bit more information about why the class is designed that way, okay? Now I'm gonna go back to the syllabus. Before I do though, any questions about the flexible course design or any questions about that before I go back to the syllabus here? Cool. Omid says thumbs up. Delorum says, thank you for understanding and making flexible class for us. I appreciate it. Yeah, life is hard. Life is crazy, Delorum. You're welcome. Yeah, the only thing that is a little bit I have learned from teaching this class online is because at 350 level, you guys are usually, very comfortable with English. Sometimes these Wednesday Zoom meetings are a little slow and a little quiet, and it's a lot of me just talking, and sometimes that's boring. So hopefully if you can come and you want to talk and you have questions, class is much more interesting. But again, if it's just me sort of explaining and teaching and showing examples, that's my job. I'm happy to do that too. So my only goal is that you guys get what you need from this class. That's the most important thing. So I'm going to go back into the syllabus and finish up some of the business, the business stuff for today. So here at the beginning, the top of the syllabus, it's all just the same information that I showed you on the Canvas homepage, right? So my name, my phone number, my email, information about the student office hours, when they are, and how to find me and all that good stuff. That's all that is. And then I've got our course description. And this is sort of just my philosophy, right? My feeling about teaching and learning. So it's really important to me that I read this and share this with you. So I'm just going to read it to you. So here's our course description. I want to begin this semester by recognizing all of the history, strength, creativity, and knowledge that you already bring to this class. Take a minute to think. Where do you come from? How did you get here? Who helped you become the person you are today? You carry all of these places, people, and experiences with you. And I want you to think about them if you ever doubt yourself this semester. This class is made up of a diverse group of human beings, and therefore we have many different ways of knowing the world. See Appendix A. I hope that we can use all these different types of knowledge as we read and write new things so that you can work toward our class learning goals. See Appendix B. This semester, I will ask you to try on a lot of new ideas and skills. See Appendix C. You might like some and really dislike others. That's great. I only ask that you imagine each experience as a different way to understand and read the world. When we do this, we won't be reading and writing to just learn the one right answer. Instead, We'll be reading and writing to create our own shared meaning as a class, and in this way, we will be active creators of our own learning. When we do this, I believe that we are more likely to use our voices to reflect and act upon the world in order to make it a more beautiful place. Kind of my big dream and my big goal, but this is why I'm a teacher, everybody. This is what I think reading and writing and teaching and learning is all about. And then I've got information about our required materials, right? There's 2 books for this class. They're both here. The Pearl by John Steinbeck and The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin. In the announcement that I sent out in Canvas, I'm going to go back to Canvas real quick. That first announcement that I sent out where it says welcome and books in our first Wednesday Zoom meeting, I've got direct links to Amazon so that you can find and purchase the books, right? And I'm going to go back here. And I did not even put these books into the ARC Book Campus because with lots of love and respect to the ARC bookstore, they are very expensive and very slow. I think the best way to find these books is on Amazon Used, or OfferUp is another app that I know a lot of students use to find things locally. But I'll just say here, and forgive me, I try to live in my second language all the time. So you see my Amazon is in Spanish, forgive me. But here where it says pasta blanda, that means soft cover, right? Not hard cover. And you see 50 usado, 50 used copies starting at $6, right? Or you can find new copies for $11. The Pearl, you can find used copies for 35 cents. So I really think Amazon or OfferUp are the best, fastest, and cheapest ways to find the required textbooks for this course. We will use both textbooks. We will read them both, and we will read all of them. And if you're thinking about, timing, the first thing we will read is the Pearl. So this is what we will read first. And then after that, closer to the end of the semester, we'll do Lathe of Heaven, because we do the Pearl, then we'll do poetry, but I don't make you buy a poetry book. And then we'll do the Lathe of Heaven for our long novel at the end of the semester, okay? Any questions or concerns or anything about the 2 books for this class before I continue with the syllabus?
Professor?
Yes, please.
While I was ordering the books from Amazon, I did notice only one thing, and that was the ISBN for the book, The Heaven.
Yes.
So the ISBN that I see right now, so the last 4 digits is 6966, but on Amazon the ISBN is different. The last 4 digits is different. So I ordered them because the cover looks the same thing.
Good.
But
Yeah, I think this is just the difference between the ISBN. Notice I have, oh, excuse me.
This one.
Different publishers using different things. So let me show you if I go back to my Safari here. I think some people like to use the ISBN with 13 digits and some people like to use the ISBN 10. I chose the ISBN 10 here, you notice? So this number is the same as the one in the syllabus, but that number is different than the ISBN 13. This has to do with library codes and bookstore codes and publisher codes. It's not very interesting, right? The difference between 10 and 13. But if you used my link to send you to this page and it looks like this, whether you got a used copy, the Kindle copy, whatever, you're in the right place. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else questions about the books or anything at all? Omid, please.
Yes, Professor. I just opened the link and directly bought without any changing any options. So I hope that I'm on the right path.
You'll be good. And if people are waiting for a copy of the Pearl, for example, we'll make it work. We're gonna make it work. Don't worry about it.
And I think I will receive it on 24th.
Okay,
next
you
week,
should be
yeah.
fine. The
Mhm.
first week or two, I give you, I know that sometimes it takes time for the book. So the first week or two, I sort of give you some PDFs and videos and sort of free stuff, you know, that we start to think about some of the big ideas, that critical thinking, like you were saying, the big ideas for this class. And then usually by week 3 or 4 at the latest, we'll start reading the book. And you'll see the Pearl is it's called a novella, sort of, here's my first vocabulary word for you this semester. Novella just means a short novel. It might say this on the website explaining what this is. Let's see. The Pearl, sometimes, you know, they give you that summary. Let's see about in Wiki. Oops. There it is. See, novella, Novella. That means it's a short novel. And you'll see when you get the book, it's only about 80 pages. It's a nice, gentle way to start the semester. So we'll be fine, Omi. And if you're still waiting for the book and we need to we'll make it work no matter what.
Thank you, Professor.
Of course. Anybody else questions, ideas, anything about the book before I continue to the next page of the syllabus? Perfect. Okay. So as I say here, you do need a computer, laptop, Chromebook, tablet, or phone with reliable internet access. Now, I cannot make you use a computer or a laptop. So students, you have the right to use only a phone, but I do think it will be much easier for you to write essays if you type them on a real keyboard instead of a tablet or phone. Now, again, I know most people, we've been doing online stuff for a while now, so we know how it goes. But if you do need help with a Chromebook, the school does sometimes have things for you to rent out from the library, or so if you need help with computer stuff, especially like a laptop or a Chromebook, just send me a text or an email. We can talk one-on-one. Okay. Then I've got some information about the grading. None of this really matters right now because for every single assignment, as you will see in Canvas, I give you a rubric, an explanation, and lots of information about each specific assignment. This is just to show you sort of the breakdown for overall how this class goes. And the last thing I'll add, so you can read that on your own time, but I will say here, there's information about the final exam. So it is a timed final exam, just to, you know, if we're thinking about at the end of the semester. But that doesn't mean that I open the test at 12:15 and it closes at 2. You only have 2 hours. The final exam, usually I'll give you at least 48 hours, sometimes even more, to complete the final exam. So it's the first day of the semester for us. You know, I hope you're not worried about the final exam right now, but just so that you have some idea, right? The final is timed, but really it's timed because I give you, 2 or 3 specific days that you will have to do it. Almost done with the syllabus here because I'm going to make you read this for a couple of the first lessons, the assignments in Canvas. But I want to make sure here, up here in the introduction where it says see Appendix A, see Appendix B, Appendix C. From 340, you guys might already know, right? But an appendix is information that comes after a works cited page in a document, right? So when I say appendix here, it just means the information at the end of a document. So Appendix A, that's this paragraph, right? And Appendix B, where I talk about the course structure and the learning goals, that's right here, right? And on the final page, page 4, is Appendix C. And I'm pointing this out to you because on one of the lessons in Canvas that I'm asking you to read through the syllabus, it'll say read Appendix A, right? Read Appendix B. I want to be really clear for you here with me and my friends watching on the recording. Appendix A is on page 3 of the syllabus. Appendix B is on page 3 of the syllabus. Appendix C is on page 4 of the syllabus, right? And I'm not going to read all of this information right now together because I'm going to ask you to read it to complete some of the first lessons in Canvas, okay? Now, the last thing I want to do, as I'm going to show you, go back to my agenda here, is to sort of preview some of the upcoming assignments. Actually, I'm going to go to this one here. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to go to this one here, and next Wednesday is the 26th. So these are some of the lessons that are available in Canvas. I wanted to show you what these are and how to complete them, and then we might even finish a little bit early today, we'll see. But before I go into the lessons and I go back to Canvas, does anybody have any questions about things from the syllabus here? Three, two. All right. So as soon as perfect. Thank you, my yellow thumbs up. I appreciate it. Okay. So like I said, coming up here, remember, I don't have due dates for most of the lessons in Canvas. You don't have any due dates, right? But for the ones that do have lessons due dates in Canvas, and for some of the lessons that are in Canvas, let's look at them together, right? Because what is available in Canvas right now, let me close this out. I'm going to go back to the home page, and I'm going to go to assignments here. All right. So here you see lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, lesson 2 does have a due date, and that's only because it's the welcome letter, right? It's where you get to learn a little bit about me, and I get to learn a little bit about you. So it's not very helpful to me if you submit the welcome letter in week 10, right? I need to learn a little bit about who you are and see some of your writing here at the beginning of the semester. So I'll talk about this in a moment, but first, lesson 1 is the name coach activity, right? And here are the instructions. All I'm asking you to do is you click on name coach over here, and here are the instructions that show you how to record your name. What I want you to do is just record your name record what you want me to call you, right? Like I always give the example, the name my mom gave me, my full name is Jeffrey, right? Jeffrey, but as I say here, but I like people to call me Jeff. So I could just say, hey, professor, my name's Jeff, right? And partly it's for me to learn, you know, a nickname if you have it, but of course it's also to get to practice the pronunciation of your name and make sure I'm saying it the best I can. Like I've been saying Omid, but Omid, forgive me if my pronunciation is terrible. I promise I will learn how to say your names. And that's why I ask you to do this first lesson, name coach. It should only take you like, I don't know, 30 seconds, and you get 10 points for doing it, right? So if you go to name coach, I end up seeing your names. And then I think some people have already done it, which is amazing. Oh, perfect, we can hear.
My name is Umaid Rosbe, and you can call me Umaid.
Omid, perfect. I've been saying Omid. I need to say more like Omid. It's not perfect. It's my California accent. Forgive me. But again, that's really helpful for me to know. So that's all I'm asking you to do for the first name coach assignment. Okay. I'll practice. Any questions at all about the name coach? Pretty easy. 10 free points. Cool. I'm going to talk about lesson 2 and 3 in a moment here, but I wanted to show you the quizzes, right? The quizzes that are about the syllabus. So here, when you click on syllabus part 1, it'll say take the quiz. This is hopefully as easy as it gets, you guys. In order to answer all of these short questions, you do need to read and review the syllabus, but this is really not to give you a test. It's to make sure you understand how this class works. Right? So for example, how many Zoom meetings do we have each week? 2, 4, 6, or 1?
1.
Thank you. And let's take another example. If you miss a Zoom meeting, Professor Jeff expects that you will watch the recording and he will hold you accountable for all the things we talked about during the meeting. True or false?
True.
Thank you. So very basic, very easy, just a way to make sure that you understand the structure of this class, okay? Now, the second syllabus quiz, lesson 5, it will take a little bit more time because this is where I ask you to read and write a little bit, okay? So this one says, read Appendix A in support of culture and language diversity. right? So again, I hopefully won't have anybody email me or text me and say, Jeff, where is Appendix A, right? It's, let me see if I can, did I close the syllabus? Excuse me. I think I did. So all you need to do is go to Appendix A, read these sentences, right? And then after that, it says, copy and paste a sentence that you really like from the paragraph, then explain why you like the sentence you chose. Give me 30 words, right? Question 2 says, review the student hours information in the live support section of Appendix B. Well, that means you got to go into Appendix B. Sorry, everybody. Again, I'm still learning my new computer, and I used to use Windows and now I use Mac, and it's a whole new world. So you need to go here into the live support section, right? You need to make sure you review those sentences. And then it says, how do you plan to use the combination of weekly Zoom meetings, student office hours, and contact with me to be successful? So you'll do the same thing. It's only 5 questions, but I'm just going to ask you to read specific sections of the syllabus and then respond, right? Write something and answer the questions that I ask you to answer about those sections in the syllabus, okay? So any questions at all about lesson 5? Cool. We are almost done, you guys. So I'm going to show you, which one do I want to show next? I'll show you the discussion. The first discussion, like I think Farouk was saying, Professor Fukui has discussions every week. We won't do a discussion every week, but we will do some discussion activities in this class. So you probably did this for 325 or 340 in the past, right? But first it says, read and review the discussion post guidelines and rubric. I'll show you that in a moment. And then answer the questions in the prompt below. So for this one, right, like I said, while people are waiting for their books and we're sort of starting the new semester, the first question I want you to do, it says, watch this YouTube video about why human beings tell stories and then answer the questions below. So here's the YouTube link.
There's a Native American proverb.
Like you can see, it's not that long. It's only 4.5 minutes, but there's some really cool and interesting ideas in there. So first, watch the video. And then it says, according to the video, what is one reason stories are so important for human beings? And 2, how did this video change your perception of stories? Omid, there's your critical thinking question, right? That's definitely a critical thinking type question. So this is what I want you to do for the first discussion activity. But before I do, I want to make sure that you see the instructions for each of the discussion activities. And this is the rules, right? This is how we'll do it for the rest of the semester, right? So here in the Canvas Canvas page where it says read and review the discussion post guidelines and rubric, that's what we're looking at here, right? Canvas discussion rubric. I'm going to show you this really quickly. It probably looks familiar. So this semester, you'll write several Canvas discussions so that you can connect and share ideas with your classmates online. So first, you will post your own response to a question or questions that I ask. And in your post, I want you to, 1, write at least 200 words. Yes, I will count your words if your post looks too short. So write 200 words, please. Next, make sure that you directly respond to all of my questions. In other words, answer the question that I ask you, right? Not something else. And then at the end of your response, ask a question to the class, to me. I'm going to be part of the discussions too, that you still have about the prompt or the topic, or in this case, the first discussion, the video that we've talked about in class, right? Then I want you to write at least 1 thoughtful reply to your classmates. I want you to write at least 50 words. And in the reply, I want you to answer or respond to one of your classmates' questions, right? And the scoring for this post go, you get 15 points. If you write 200 words for your first post, you get 15 points. If you write 50 words for your response, your reply, you get 5 points. So these rules and this scoring rubric, it's the same for any discussion post that we have for the entire semester, okay? Any questions about this, about the discussion rubric, the post, the rules in the rubric, anything at all? I'm going to make a note. I need to fix a typo here on this document here, please. Update discussion rubric. I'll do that and I'll post that soon. Cool. Only one more lesson to talk about. So anything about discussions, you guys? Cool. Cool. You guys still here? Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to go back to assignments, and this will be the last thing I show you, and then we'll get out of here. So lesson 2, right? It does have a due date, and that's because it is. Sorry, everybody. A phone call from a student. Let me disconnect this. Okay. All right, so lesson 2 is the welcome letter. Make sure that I explain this for you here. So as it says here on welcome, the welcome letter lesson 2, this assignment is a chance for me to learn a little bit about you, and it will also allow me to read some of your writing without you worrying about grades, corrections, or feedback. I want to make sure that's clear. I'm not grading for grammar on this first assignment or structure or anything, right? It's just a chance for me to learn about you and to see some of your writing. Now, I want you to write a letter to introduce yourself to me. Before you write your letter, please read my example letter below. And again, you can preview it or download it, but here's my example letter. So I'm going to introduce myself to you, right? Who I am and some information about me. So please read this letter before you write your letter. It's going to give you a good example too. And then it says, after you read my letter, it's time for you to write your own. In your letter, please answer the following questions. 1, who are you? 2, how did you get to ARC? 3, what's a goal you have for this semester? And 4, what's a long-term dream that you have for your life? So I know these are kind of big open questions, but again, make sure you read my letter to see an example of how I answered these questions. And then you can absolutely use my example to help you write your own letter, okay? Now, as I say here, see the rubric below for information about grading. And if you're not sure how to use proper MLA formatting, please watch this very short video about how to make your Word document into MLA format. And for this one, guys, I don't mean in-text citation, works cited quoting. I just mean very basic MLA formatting stuff here, right? Times New Roman, size 12, double spaced. If you took 300 or 340, you know, right? Every document that you turn in for college assignment should be Times New Roman, 12-point font, double space. So the grading for this is, I want your letter to be 500 words. If you write 500 words, you get 10 points. And I want you to use MLA formatting. And if you use MLA formatting, you get 5 points. So no grading for did you answer perfectly or is your grammar perfect? This is just do it, follow the instructions, you get your points, okay? Questions about this welcome letter assignment? Cool. Well, as I say here on the final slide, right, this is a sort of gentle welcome and introduction to the class. So this is what you're suggested, if you can, to complete these lessons before next week. If you can't, that's fine. There's no due date for anything except for the introduction letter. So in the meantime, if you have any questions, anything comes up, you need to talk to me, email me, text me, come to office hours tomorrow, whatever you need. I will post the PowerPoint presentation and the recording of this class right now by the end of the day today. And any last call for questions? If not, I'm going to stop recording and then I'll say goodbye to all of you. So any last second questions?
No question.
Perfect. I'm going to stop recording.